you combine a business-minded person with a friendly disposition, drive to make a difference, and a passion for the American Quarter Horse, you get the 68th president of the world's largest equine breed association, Ralph Seekins. Ralph's love for horses started at a young age.
I think about the time I was 8 or 9, I got a Christmas present and I got a bridle in there. And I couldn't figure out what in the world. I knew what it was, but where's the horse, you know? So I asked my mom, I said, well, I got the bridle, but don't have a horse. She said, well, we'll have to see what we can do about that. Ended up, not too long after that, my dad had two, one for me, one for my older brother, ranch horses that were retired, and they weren't beautiful, but I thought they were.
Over the years, Ralph's passion for horses grew, along with his successful career. He was a car salesman, a good part of his adult life, and owned a Ford dealership for 46 years. Ralph's outgoing personality and desire to make a difference also led him to serve as an Alaska state senator for 4 years, which kind of made him a celebrity in the 49th state. Ralph used that celebrity status to educate Alaskans about American quarter horses and help build the quarter horse industry in his state.
I was very fortunate. I took a part-time job 54 years ago when I got married. I went to work for a Ford dealer who at one time was an actor's agent. Jane Russell was one of his clients. John Wayne was his good buddy. You know, he would come to Seattle and visit with my boss. But here was a man who wanted to develop younger people. He was an actor's agent, but he was also, I was the 9th of his young people that actually got his own dealership. And he had a great value in that. He taught me that I wasn't in the car business, I was in the people business.
Ralph can also be described as a family man who passed his passion to his daughters. When his daughters were teenagers, Beth and Andrea asked for horses. Ralph and his wife Connie told the girls that first they had to prove that they could be responsible and take care of horses. After over a year of cleaning stalls, grooming, and feeding a friend's horses in return for getting to ride, Beth and Andrea were up for the challenge of owning, caring for, and showing their own horses. That was the start of what in 1993 became Seekins Family Quarter Horses at the Lazy S Ranch.
So as Connie and I got to where our girls were coming along, and I didn't know they had that passion, and I'm so busy working hard, you know, to make a living, I didn't think about having a horse, but my girls did. And so they started thinking about going and getting a horse, and I said, well, if we're going to have a horse, we're going to have a quarter horse, because I know what they are. I know they can do anything, they've got the right mind. Quarter horses and kids go together.
Breeding, raising, training, and showing horses was fun for the family, but they wanted to share that blessing with others. So in 1996, they started Helping Hooves, a therapeutic riding program in which their show horses serve as the mounts for children, adults, and soldiers suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder or with disabilities. The family also started Ride with Ralph, a regular Wednesday night event during which the family offers riding lessons free of charge to 4-H'ers and other American Quarter Horse owners. Over the years, Ralph learned more about the American Quarter Horse Association and how he could be more involved.
I ran into Larry and Nancy Powell. They were judges and horse breeders, and they were very successful at what they did. But he came up to judge. And Nancy and Larry would come judge quarter horse show, then do a 4-H show. I mean, they were just great with people and with kids. And I didn't know there was an organization at AQHA. But he said, you know, Ralph, have you ever gone to a convention? I said, no, I didn't know there was one. He says, why don't you come to the next one? I'll introduce you to some people. After Larry brought me to a convention, introduced me to a few people, and I started seeing the value to the association and what it was doing. I always worked kind of behind the scene. They wanted to put together a public policy committee, and I started working with that. Eventually became chairman of that. I started seeing, you know, getting involved in what was making AQHA work and seeing the value of that. There is tremendous value there.
Ralph's main priority was to listen to members and learn what he could do to be more helpful and make AQHA better for them and their American quarter horses.
And I was fortunate that there were people there that were very helpful to me and helped me understand what I didn't understand yet, and some great staff people that would help that. And so it was fun because it was always challenging. how can we do this better? How could we do that better? And how are we performing in this area and whatnot? So it kind of meshed into what I do on a smaller basis in my little car business.
Some of Ralph's member-focused objectives as AQHA president included ensuring the availability of organized competition for exhibitors of all financial needs and skill levels, upholding the high standards and consistency in creating and enforcing AQHA rules and regulations, implementing a level playing field for all exhibitors in AQHA competition, and increasing opportunities for recognition and awards for those investing their time and money in AQHA competition. Highlights for Ralph's presidential year included AQHA Ranching Heritage bred horses competing for nearly $115,000 in the inaugural AQHA Ranching Heritage Challenge Finals, the addition of 7 13 and under World Championship core classes to the 2018 AQHYA World Championship Show, and the American Quarter Horse Foundation awarding more than $365,000 to AQHYA members through scholarships.
One of the things I'd love to see is more people knowing that they can be involved, that there is this group of people, and the horses are used in many, many different ways, and that there's probably somewhere for them in that process. It might start out small with just a bridle and a horse with no saddle. Might start out small, but it's there.
Since serving as AQHA president, Ralph continues to advocate for the association's members and horses, and he always shares his love of the American Quarter Horse with everyone he meets. Please welcome AQHA past president Ralph Seekins into the American Quarter Horse Hall of Fame.